All right, so this is literally my first attempt at this series. I don't really know what I'm calling it, mainly because I've never done this before. I tried to do it on Little Big Planet karting, but was a little unsuccessful, and that was mainly because I was insecure and I didn't really know how to kind of cover that topic or that type of um, I don't know, type of content. And no one liked Little Big Planet karting. I don't know why. Everybody hated that game, but to me, I loved it, and I wanted to do something different and do a speed create because Meniska was doing a speed create for Little Big Planet. And so, how cool would it have been had it Little Big Planet karting had that? But I don't know. Anyway, that said, this is me right now just building a level. I wanted to get the point across to my students because I do teach this game to students for an after-school program. So I'm kind of lucky to be able to do that, and I wanted just to be able to show them how to create. So this is me doing something really quickly. I'm not the best at it, but I'm really a Little Big Planet karting creator. So like I'm learning as I go, but I know pretty much the basics of game design, level design and gameplay design, and those are two different things, and I teach that to the students. And what I really love about Little Big Planet is that you're able to do this no matter the age, and that's what's so cool. If you're willing to learn and take the time to learn level design and just understand and just experiment, then you can come up with some really cool things. And it's easier said than done. And what I love about this game is just that the limitations that there are the thermometer and the ones that you make for yourself. So you kind of just have to use your imagination. So the wider that is, the better that is for you. I don't know. With that being said, it's cool to be able to create, and I'm just very blessed to be able to use this game as a medium to, I don't know, teach. And it's cool because there's actual skills that can be learned. And that's why I love Little Big Planet so much, is I think that little media molecule created something special and amazing. And it's if you're willing to put the time in, there's a lot of things. You can essentially make your own game. So that's really what it is. It's just making your own game. You make literally the content that you want to play. So I don't know, for me, Little Big Planet karting, I love racing games. So for that was just everything I ever asked for. So I could make my own racetracks to anything. I made my garage to my house inside that game. It looks just like it. I'll show that in another video, but that's what's so cool is because you can do that. And I wouldn't have, in the past, I don't think I would have ever done anything like that because I didn't know how to. That's funny. But anyway, to the video, what you guys seeing in the background is me just putting together something that I've drawn on a piece of paper, on some graph paper that I found for the students. And I told them to go home over the weekend and kind of draw a stage and use the graph paper to come up with the ideas. And honestly, I was kind of I was very inspired because I didn't even do it myself. So they did it before me. So when I come back to school on Monday and my students showing me the graph paper and their level design, I'm kind of whoa, these kids really, really, really sat down and thoroughly thought out these levels. And I'm saying they drew them out, put the obstacles, spinning material, all types of stuff, and they paid attention to everything. So it's just cool. So with them doing that, they kind of inspired me to do that. So I did the same thing. So what you guys are looking at is the level that I put together in a matter of 20 seconds because I put the pro in procrastinate. So I kind of did that at the last minute. So not anything that I'm proud of, but moral of the story is don't procrastinate. Kind of ruins a lot of stuff. But what you're looking at is me creating just some type of gameplay. It's very basic. You're looking at me just put together a spinning piece of sponge that the player has to grab onto. And on the paper that I have, you're going to be using the momentum from the sponge to, hop to the next platform. So you'll see. And at this point right now, I'm just tweaking and looking at the objects because I'm putting down this bounce pad. And what that's going to do is it's going to allow the player to jump to the sponge. And what's cool about Little Big Planet is just about everything is customizable. So I'm just setting the height high enough to build momentum like that. So that's kind of what I wanted to do. And at this point in the stage, I don't want to penalize the player for making any mistakes. So if they're not able to jump on that, then yeah, sorry about that. As I'm watching myself make this, I'm already seeing some design flaws. Like, there's nothing telling the player to grab onto that. So like, I'm automatically making the assumption that the player knows. And what I learned through design theory is that you kind of want to subtly introduce the concept to the player. So like, to me, anytime you're introducing gameplay, it always has to be like, there's no penalty. You know what I mean? Like, in terms of platforming, I mean, it's different for everything. And I think in Little Big Planet, when you make a level and like a series of levels, you have control of that. So like, not every level you're gonna make is gonna just be pure. You don't have to teach the player something easy first. Some people like to just jump right in and tell players that their gameplay is difficult right off the bat. Games, I don't know, that have really good difficult platforming, or like Mega Man, where everything's timing. So like, I'm so inspired by those games just because there's a lot of like thinking that goes into that and planning that goes into all of that stuff. It's like the perfect jump, the perfect height. So I respect a lot of gameplay designers that do that, because it's just different to come up with gameplay rather than like the environment. And that was always my thing, learning. And you're gonna see as you watch the video that I'm just kind of learning as I go. And again, it was kind of rushed. This was just something that I wanted to show the students today in class, but I found out that there was no class today, so I was kind of down there for no reason, which is fine because, I mean, whatever. I got to get out the house because I was in the house playing the game all day anyway, and that's kind of what I do all the time. If I'm not drawing, then I'm playing a game or working out or playing another game or hanging out with my family, and that's really it. But anyway, at this point, I'm just messing with just trying to find the right placing for the jumps. And if you guys hear that, that's the jets passing by. There's nothing I can really do about that, just because I live by the Air Force. And we're always hearing like constant sonic booms. Oh yeah. Excuse me, and not mean to cough into the mic. I'll cut that. I'll also record my brother's level too, because he's working on a stage as well. So what's happening now is I'm just setting the camera to be at a distance to where you can see what's going on. I don't want to hide anything to the player. I want you to see what the gameplay is going to offer. So when I go in later and adjust what I like, tweak something, because right now I see a lot of things that should be changed, and I kind of want to perfect the gameplay that I'm introducing. And honestly, I don't worry about the aesthetics as I go. Like, I'll come back and I'll do environmental design in terms, like, so to speak, and I'll get back to that later. I like to have an even balance of like gameplay. I'd rather get the gameplay important. Like, gameplay is probably the most important thing over visuals, because you can have a game where it's just nothing but pure platforming. Like, there's no good visuals. Like, not even saying visuals have to be good. There's some games that have very, very, very minimalist design. Like, I was talking to my brother today as he plays in his level. He's just gonna leave the aesthetics, just this cardboard aesthetic, just because he likes that. So essentially, it's whatever you want it to be honest. There's really no right or wrong way to go about having your level. I mean, for me, I like very detailed and beautiful things, but I also like to have, I don't know, like a very minimalist approach. But I'm also a very complicated person. You can ask me what my favorite color is, and I'll tell you it's green, but then it'll probably change. It always does. That's just me. So, with that being said, I'm kind of complicated. I'm trying to keep the commentary cool and fresh because I haven't done this in a while, so it's different to be watching what I'm doing and then observing, because I kind of don't know what to say and I kind of do at the same time, but I'm also just going with the flow. Don't mind the theme. This is me just, again, with this, and I'm not going to do this again, but when I record, everything else is just going to be great, like, content, just because this level right here was just to get something down to show the students in my class, or you guys, so to speak, anything. And this is, I don't know, different. I'm just really throwing something together, and these are supposed to be clouds. And they don't really look like clouds. That one kind of looks like a pig, but I'm just trying to, at this point and in this stage of the video, I'm just trying to put something together because I want to show that you can kind of make, I don't know, an environment or atmosphere. And I think I'm capturing that. And that's what I like about Little Big Planet. Not even like, but love. Like, you can literally have any type of theme you want. I don't know where the clouds came from, but I just kind of just wanted to put that out there just because I really didn't know what to think of. But I would say you will be expecting greatness in the coming videos. But I think it ends up looking kind of awesome, like, all together. Like, I kind of have like a random like theme, so like naturally it just goes together. It kind of just represents my kind of aesthetic. I've seen this type of theme done in a game, and again, going back to what I said with like just themes and aesthetics, as long as the gameplay is good, you can have like a random theme and it doesn't even have to be cohesive because it just all works together. There's like so many levels where the themes are just thrown together and it just looks awesome because the gameplay is good. If the gameplay is good, then the level is going to be great automatically. Like, gameplay is an absolute must. I think today, like, what I see, like, is that like a lot of games just look good. Like, graphics are I think, I don't know, in my philosophy, and it doesn't have to be, it's not for everybody, but to me, like, graphics don't make games. Like, graphics don't, like, they're a huge part of the game, but they're not the game itself, unless your gameplay is, like, revolves around, like, pretty looking pictures. But to me, I'd rather have a game that the gameplay is solid enough. And I think once you can get the gameplay to become solid and solidified, then you can focus on the visuals. And some people aren't good at visuals. And I think the advantage that I have is that I'm an artist. So to me, I can kind of come up with things on the spot. But I mean, I had to work for that artistic ability too. I think that people see natural talent and they're kind of like, oh, they're just naturally good at something. It doesn't really work like that. I think someone being naturally good at things, I think of myself as a jack of all trades. And sometimes I call it the curse because you're good at a lot of stuff. And then people like to see they ask, why don't you do something with it? And it's kind of hard because if you get good at a lot of things, you get overwhelmed with all the things that you're good at. So to me, I feel like I get envious of people who know what they want to do because, I don't know, being someone that is a jack of all trades, it can kind of be a mess to kind of like do things because, I don't know, you just, like, for me, I don't want to speak for anybody else, but I don't know, I don't stop doing something till I get good at it, until a comfortable level of it. So, like, I want to be good enough to be competent in it and be proficient in it. And then that kind of changes. For me, I kind of get obsessed with it, and then I will get good at it till I feel like I'm good. Like, and then I see what pros are doing, and then I get inspired by the pros, and then I just get kind of like consumed by whatever it is I do. You can ask anybody that I know that knows me, is that I will be the best at what it is that I like to do. And I don't think that there's nothing wrong with that. I just have that perfectionist mindset, that chasing something that doesn't exist, but using it to fuel you. So I use the same philosophy for my art. I like to I don't know, see what the greats are doing and then use the greats as the standards, whether it's like impressionist art or animation or some stylized realism. I like to just take it all together and